What did Jesus mean when he said, "The mysteries of the kingdom of heaven are revealed to you, but they are not revealed to them"? So the word that we need to understand is the word mystery. We tend to understand the word mystery according to our contemporary understanding of mystery. If we find something that is strange, we say this is a mystery. A mystery for us is a puzzle, something we cannot understand. And so if something truly cannot understand, we say it's a mystery of God, and therefore beyond human understanding. But this is not what the Bible means when the word mystery is used, especially in the New Testament. The word mystery comes from the Greek word mysterion. Mysterion simply means to enter into an experience. So that is why during the time of Jesus, in the Greek world, they have this celebration of rites, rituals. And so whenever they celebrate the rites, the believers were supposed to enter into that experience and to make present what they were celebrating. So mystery is really to enter into the experience that the ritual seeks to do. That is why when we celebrate the Mass, at the center of the Mass, we say, "Let us proclaim the mystery of faith." What do you mean, mystery of faith? We say, Christ has died, Christ is risen. But what do you mean by this? Is it just saying that this is a mystery to us? How did Jesus die? How did Jesus rose again? That is not what we mean. Because in the Eucharistic prayer, we are in the depth of a mystery. To celebrate the Eucharist is to do this in memory. Memory not in terms of data. It is not to recall. Do this in memory of me. The word, again, translated is memory. Actually, the real word is memoria. Memoria means to enter into the same experience. So every time when we celebrate the Eucharist, we are supposed to enter into the same experience where the disciples experienced Jesus' death on the cross, and we enter into the death of Jesus and so rise with him. So it's not simply a ritual that we go through, a ritual that we commemorate again and again, just like your birthday celebration, your wedding anniversary. Those are remembrance. Every time we celebrate the Eucharist, actually, we are making Jesus present, the same sacrifice present in an unbloody way. So when Jesus said, "The mysteries are revealed only to you, not to others." Why? Because the disciples were with Jesus. They were walking with him. They were living with him. They encountered Jesus in his miracles, in his preaching, in his teaching. Encountering Jesus, they actually have a personal relationship with him. In that sense, Jesus is not a mystery to them. In that sense, it's a lived experience. The mystery is a celebration of a God event, an experience of God. Now, Jesus, you notice, he is not a theologian in our sense. A theologian uses words, concepts. But God cannot be put in conceptual terms. Jesus never defined God. Jesus did not teach doctrines per se. Jesus illustrates the love of God. Jesus leads us into the experience of his love through his miracles, through his forgiveness, through his love, through eating and drinking with sinners. The kingdom of God is nothing else but a God experience. And how do you lead a person to a God experience? Teaching? That's the whole problem. They go for courses in dogma and get the diploma and degree. They know all about God, but they do not know God. They have no personal experience of him. Does that mean that intellectual understanding of God is an experience of God? That is why Jesus refused to use an intellectual discourse to explain God. And so the parables are used for outsiders. Why? Because parables deals with life events. All these things the people are going through every day. So when Jesus spoke about using all these parables, immediately they can connect with the experience. That's why a story is open-ended. That's why telling stories is the best way actually to change people's life. A story evokes all kinds of experiences depending which part of the story you can identify with. And so the person is being challenged to change his life. So how do we lead people to God experience? For Jesus, parables. For those who have no personal contact with him. So we ask yourself, you attend Mass every Sunday and so on, do you really enter into the experience of God? Or is it just through another ritual that you go through? That's why our lives are not transformed. Because we're just going through the motion. We think it's magic. So long as I finish one Mass, receive Holy Communion, Jesus is now with me. Is that so? Is that really true? Do you really experience Jesus when you receive Holy Communion? So I think it's very important to ask ourselves, do we really have a personal encounter with the Lord? If there is a God experience, our lives will change. That's why you notice the first generation Catholics, our parents, even they don't understand what is going on in the Mass. They don't understand the word. But they are so devout. Every day pray the rosary. They look at the Eucharist. They are so full of reverence. Nowadays we understand everything, but no reverence. How do you explain all this? I think it's important for us to think through about a God experience. Whether the things we do are really helping us to grow closer to the Lord, encountering him. Or is it just another conceptual understanding which actually make us think that we are close to God? Actually, we are not.